not doing it!
Oh my god. Uh-oh. Is that you, Tugboat?
I'm seeing horrible images.
Ah!
Okay, Cheese, that's all I can handle of that. I am gonna pee myself. If
I
any-
was, my heart rate's up.
Me too. Me too. If any of our listeners want to listen to the rest of that horrifying track, you can find it on YouTube called Halloween Music, free download. My
How's
God.
that? That the original version, or is that a cover?
No, I think that's the full version, fully. That was horrifying. That I'm scared.
There was a few parts there that actually sounded like you, especially that first little cackle there.
Yeah, I thought maybe we would leave that to our listeners to decide if it was us doing the noises and the "I will eat you." That was also equally horrifying. That's what I tell my lunch every day. But anyways, I think this is our first official Halloweeg episode or episodes.
Say Halloweeg.
Say
Hey,
Halloweeg. Hey, say Halloweeg. That could be a rap song.
Halloweeg. Hey!
That could be a rap song, easily.
Yeah, that. I think that's originally performed by Les Squelettes.
It's true. One of the greatest music videos of all time.
Yeah, for those you probably American listeners and maybe most of Canadian listeners have probably never heard of Les Squelettes. They were a two-piece rock and roll band, probably from what would you say, like the late '80s, maybe early '90s
Yeah.
on the television.
Late 80s for sure.
'80s.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Téléfoncé.
Français.
So all young Canadians learned how to speak French, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, without question. I know girls from Sault Ste. Marie that were familiar with that.
Oh, really?
Yep.
With Jacques and Stephanie.
I mostly remember the follow-up to that with Sol. I forget what that one was called. And Anana. Sol and Anana.
Yeah.
Je n'ai pas touché le poteau.
Oui, c'est vrai.
Just humorous shows.
Super humorous. So that brings us our Halloweeg episode, and we're focusing specifically on ghosts.
The most horrifying part of my year. Ghosts. Oh.
I don't like ghosts.
There are so many tales from the Tugboat on this one. Oh, man. So, okay, fine. Let's get into it. Let's do this. The sooner we do it, the sooner it's over and I can stop being so horrified. Okay, ghosts. Why are they scary? I don't know. What do you think, Cheese?
I don't know. There's probably a lot of theories about it. I mean, to be honest, when you think about it, there's really nothing that scary about ghosts. They're supposed to be sort of see-through, sort of, and not I'm not sure if they have the ability to touch physical reality, or if they're just there to be like, ooh, I'm not a person, that kind of stuff, which is kind of spooky, but I don't know. I think it's more like a mental thing.
But what about... Nope, lost it. what like are ghosts former people? Are they kind of energy signatures left? Are they the soul unbodied? Like what are we dealing with here?
Yeah, yeah. I think like those, in my opinion, I think those would probably be like one of the scariest ones. Would be like the ones that are like people, but something's like messed up on them. Like they look like a person, but they've got like half their face missing, or long tattered silks, or something like that.
But like
Um,
if you see your if you're in an old house and you see like an old man just like dressed to the period that he died in, like a
yeah,
great grandfather or something, if that happens to me, I am still gonna lose my stuff. So
yeah. You're not like sitting there like, here's an interesting experiment to look back into the history and ask them about what their time was like.
what did you do for butter?
Yeah, you're like, this doesn't make sense. Those aren't 2014 clothes.
Because I've heard all kinds of interesting theories on ghosts, like they're actually still living. They just are on a higher plane of existence, like another dimension, basically, and that dimension sits on top of ours, but it's about 4 feet higher if you're thinking spatially. So that's why ghosts always appear to be floating because they're actually 4 feet up, and somehow there's a break, an interdimensional science, physics, Marty could explain it, break in between the two dimensions that we can see them for an instant, or we see certain things or hear certain things that are actually happening fully in another dimension, like in their reality. That kind of that
Oh my
bakes my
goodness.
noodle a little bit.
Yeah, that bakes my noodle. That I've actually never heard that theory before. The only sort of image that comes to mind is sort of. Have you ever seen sort of sketch artists where they have like the paper and they have like one drawing and then they have sort of a laminate paper that goes like over top of it that has another drawing on it. So then it's like they're two separate drawings, but one on top of the other, so they can move independently but interact or something. Like I'm not sure what they use it for, but that's what kind of comes to mind.
I haven't seen
Uh,
it personally, but I definitely understand the concept.
yeah, and like do ghosts? So like here's the question: then like do ghosts in their like in their other dimension? Do they know about like the regular human dimension? Obviously, because they did live at a time. So like they know when they're kind of flipping into another dimension and are
Yeah,
like, let's mess with all these alive people because I'm dead.
yeah. Great,
Or
great questions, Cheese. Are they conscious that they're dead, or are we appearing as ghosts, like when they see us, which doesn't always happen, apparently, according to everything I've seen on ghosts. Sometimes they don't see you, but a lot of times they do interact and they're fully aware that they can mess around with you. So it's
yeah, those are like super. Well, maybe not. What are they, rare or something? I have a thing that talks about it. They're like described as intelligent or interactive ghosts. And I think this goes on the theory that you're talking about. But it's like the mortal form dies, and then your aura and energy goes off into this other thing. And they're able to like touch, and they're aware of us, and they can communicate, and they're like, I don't know. I think there's been movies where it's like, this might even be the movie Ghost, where it's just like, I died in this horrible way. You need to help the alive people solve this mystery so I can move on to some other thing. So they're like, oh man, you've got to like do this. There's like
and
those ghosts.
he goes and sees that guy in the subway and he teaches him how to touch so that he can get his revenge on Carl Bruner.
Yeah, exactly.
And Whoopi
And then
Goldberg helps him out.
in the process, like have like intimate moments while doing pottery.
Yeah. So we'll come back to that part later, but
Oh yeah. Oh, we
one
definitely.
one other thing I want to talk about, or just ghosting in general here, is you hear these stories of people that have quote unquote seen or experienced the supernatural, and one common thread is they always feel the temperature drop and the hairs on the back of their neck stand up.
Yeah.
So is that
Even
just you look for that and then you're like, oh no, there's a ghost nearby? Or is it something that people just honestly experience and then independently relate back to the listener?
yeah, like that. Like even when you describe that, like hair standing on end and all that kind of stuff with a cold draft, that like already makes me kind of experience that a little bit, which is kind of spooky. But it's like, yeah, it's like we're never like, oh, a high pressure system must be meeting a low pressure system, or maybe I left the window open. It's always like first instance is like ghosts.
Boom, ghost. It's on. Here we go. But
Temperature dropped. Let's get out of here, guys.
at the same time, like what physiological response would be triggered to make that happen? Like, and I've been in places where, and we'll tugboat tale later, but been in places where you kind of feel like you're not alone, and you get that super creeped out feeling, and then the hairs on the back of your neck stand up because you're feeling some kind of, fight or flight response.
Yeah.
Is there anything like that you're aware of, being, a brain scientist that you are?
I honestly do not. I do not. I haven't perused the literature as far as like ghosts and physiological stuff. But yeah, like we were just saying earlier, like if you get a sort of draft or something, like your brain can go to certain places to kind of explain why that stuff is happening. And a lot of people, they go to like ghosts or a presence or something like that, depending on, I don't know, whatever is triggered in their mind. I'm sure a weather person would be like, that's why this is happening.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like, there's definitely something going on just for that common business to be happening, but
Yeah, but I think it's like your body's, like if it feels like it's in danger, it's going to have all those reactions. Like you feel unsafe, you're going to have like hair stand on end or that kind of stuff to just kind of alert you to be like, oh man, these are signs that I should get out of here.
there's a monster. So there's kind of, we're talking about ghosts and whatnot, and in movies they kind of differentiate, and they have different kind of ghosts and monsters, and I have a hard time kind of pegging down which one I find the most horrifying. I mean, there's your run-of-the-mill ghost, some figure or something, and sometimes they have kids involved, and it's always horrifying. But then you have like your exorcist type of stuff, where there's a demon involved, and the demon's just malicious and a real dick about stuff, a real jerk, if you would. And then you have like your angel-y type of benevolent ghost that wants to help people, but would we call Patrick Swayze an angel? I don't know at this point, but
Yeah, he's more angelic than anything else.
yeah, more good natured in their presence.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't even tap into the supernatural jerks in our other jerk podcast, but maybe we can kind of maybe discuss that like a little bit right now. Like, I mean, I don't like those sort of really like devilish, horrific kind of people. Like they're kind of disfigured and they just look super evil. And it's not even like mischief for them. It's like worse than that. Like I don't mind like a ghosting trickster. Like, well, I'm gonna spook this guy or something. And it's like okay, but then there's other ones where it's like legitimate fear of life kind of stuff. Or the possession stuff. To be honest, the possession stuff never really got me. Like The Exorcist was way before my time. It's been spoofed so many times that it just doesn't hold the same sort of scare that it probably would somebody who like saw that for the first time. But I don't know. I don't see that as being.
No, I think that movie is just, I don't know. It was a different time. People were more susceptible to being scared by, I don't know. It was new, and it's just not that scary. I've seen it since. It's just comical to me. But if you really want to get your scare on in terms of possessions, and you can ask Phil about this because I made him watch it. Watch watch at night in a dark room The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Oh, okay.
That's all true event stuff, and it will just shake you to the core.
Ah.
I'm pretty glad that he was there when I went to sleep, because I tell you. And the other one that got me good was Exorcist: The Beginnings. I think a lot of the fear of kind of possession stuff comes from the religious aspect, and I don't want to get into religion at all. This isn't a godcast. But
from like psychology perspective, I would probably just say that you're out of control. I think like people just get freaked out by either themselves not being in control or having someone that they like know who's predictable and has been, this nice person, and all of a sudden they're just like super possessed and weird and scary, and you're just like, no, I can't, no, this is terrifying.
Yeah, you need to watch that movie. It'll knock your socks off.
Okay, well, I would actually tip off on like a little bit aside here is this like boggles my mind is that like we have this sort of need to want to be scared, but in a safe thing. But it's like, why when somebody says this thing terrified the crap out of me, like I was just so scared, I had my hair standing on end, I couldn't sleep for 3 days. I'm still affected by it, and they go, you should watch it.
Yeah. Or some people describe a movie to you in full detail, and then years later you see it on MTV in the afternoon, you're like, yeah, I think I'll watch it now. I think I'm ready. Like, I think it's it goes back to a competitive thing. Like, you don't want to be scared by it. You got to watch it to kind of show that you can do it. I don't know. Something like that. I hate scary movies myself.
Yeah, so you're like using it as like a proof to yourself that you're not scared of no ghost kind of thing?
Yeah, or like the time I slept in my truck just to show that I could do it.
Yeah.
When I was 31.
You did.
So what?
But my perspective is a little bit different. I think, I don't know, this might make me a terrible person, but I think it's sort of like inherently distrustful, like, oh, this person was scared, oh, what a wimp. I won't be scared by this. I'm going to watch it and then tell them how not scary it was and stuff. And then you watch it and then you're terrified and then you go, oh yeah, no, they were right.
And then 2 glasses of wine comes home from a run and finds you balled up in the corner of the room, just rocking back and forth, being like, it was too scary.
And then she'll be just like, get to your senses. But speaking of 2 glasses of wine, she hates scary movies. Like these aren't even scary movies, and she just like cannot watch parts of it. It's just like thrillers, even just someone's behind a wall and they pop out like a surprise. Like she hates surprises, I guess.
Can't do the jumpy parts.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest terrible thing about that is when somebody closes their eyes during a film, they can't piece things together. So what do?
Be scared.
Fill in the blank. They ask you to fill in the blanks for them. They like close their eyes and go, "What just happened?" Just watch it.
I have a colleague at work. Her and her husband both detest scary movies, and like even like child scary movies, like Ernest Scared Stupid. They can't handle that. And
that actually was a pretty scary premise, to be honest, though.
It was. Those trolls and when you're a kid, those trolls were kind of scary.
Yeah, but for me, it wasn't so much the trolls. It was the fact that, like, this person could turn you into these little, like, figurines.
Yeah.
That friggin' scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, that was, as a child, seeing that was pretty out there. But anyway, so they can't watch even, like, Walking Dead and stuff like that. That's too scary for them. However, they live in an old, like, 150-year-old farmhouse that is haunted. Every night around 9 o'clock, not every night, but most nights around 9 o'clock, she said she can hear footsteps and giggling upstairs of a little girl. And I said, are you kidding me? And she hears other, like, doors close unexpectedly, and they just say, oh, it's drafty.
But then they won't watch something that's fake.
Yeah, they're living a nightmare, but they won't watch something that's kind of funny.
That makes literally no sense.
Yeah, my mind is boggled by that.
Yeah, that makes absolutely absolutely no sense. It's like, well, if you're gonna live in a barn, you gotta expect a couple hauntings. Like,
Yeah, you're gonna
a
live in
given.
an old house. You might as well expect it to be murdered in your sleep by a ghost. I don't know.
Yeah,
What kind
it's the
of
price.
yeah? It's part of the big part of the game.
Part of the
Um,
game.
but the game has changed.
But the players are the same.
There it is. So like, what is it more scary to have a kind of a ghost following you around, or you have that ghost that upstairs at 9 o'clock every night just walks across the floor and closes one of the doors? Like,
Yeah, I think the unseen ghost is way more terrifying than the seen ghost.
so the poltergeist type of ghost is more scary than the generic ghost.
Oh yeah, like if I can see the ghost, I'll probably be terrified, but I'll kind of be like, oh yeah, he's kind of human-like. Something terrible must have happened to him or something. But like those, oh, the chairs are just moving around. Like that's just messed up.
Yeah,
Like, where? What?
or it's yeah, and I don't want to talk about Paranormal Activity too much, but some of those scenes where that camera was on the fan moving back and forth, and then it just and you're the whole time you're just tense because you know you're watching that edge of the screen because you know something's going to be different, and then all the kitchen is on the roof after about 2 seconds, and then it all falls down.
Yeah,
I almost crap my pants.
yeah. No, that stuff gets me like quite a bit. I just don't like the unseen.
Yeah, the unknown. It's
Something you can't.
yeah. But
Yeah, no.
and then the other part is, and to this point in my life, I've been pretty successful at avoiding it. But when a ghost is tied to a spot or a house or a location, you
Yeah,
just don't go there. Like, I don't go to the town of Lucan because it's purportedly haunted by the Black Donnellys. I've never been into the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake because it's the most haunted town in Ontario. Some
yeah.
people don't seem to see that as much of a problem, but I guess
And that's why we're having our wedding there.
it's probably why venues and stuff are cheaper because they're super haunted.
Yeah, and we're staying in a sort of old Victorian bed and breakfast, so that'll probably be almost 100% haunted.
And I will be
There's,
100% intoxicated the whole time.
yeah. Oh, that's good. So your increase, like, they're kind of like moving on to a next little thing. Like, I don't know, you talked about like the specific spot or a specific person or whatever. So I was trying to think, because I always thought a poltergeist was someone or it's a thing that was like attached to a home, like a specific house, and they just always stay there and haunt it. But apparently, like poltergeists are like they follow you around.
Yeah, that's way scarier for me is they talk about people that are sensitive and whatever that can kind of, I don't know if they see ghosts or they have some kind of like spiritual sensitivity, and
Yeah,
apparently those people are most susceptible to having a ghost kind of latch onto them and follow them around. So like, you move into a house, you buy a house and it's haunted, and you're like, I don't like this, I don't like that kid walking around upstairs. So you go to move, and here the kid is attached to you. So now everywhere you go, you have to deal with this ghost for the rest of your life, slamming cupboards and moving chairs around in the night. Like, that is way more, one, inconvenient, if we're just going to be serious about it, and two, the concept of that is, that's the worst.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
no
Because I
escape.
mean, the ghost perspective, they're like, oh, this person can see me. They'll listen to me and stuff, and then they follow you around. But you don't want them there. It's just kind of like a really like annoying, like little sibling
Or they
uh,
decide that they want to eat you, so they, like, just try and do it, and they're trying to bite you all day, but they can't because they never talked to that guy in the subway like the Sways did.
yeah, like they just like pester you or try and get in your body to be human again.
The worst.
Oh, that would be
So everything we've talked about is kind of ghosts scaring you and ghosts being malicious, trying to destroy you and kill you. What about like helpful ghosts? Like, what about if you're gonna be in a car accident, a ghost like jerks the wheel and saves your life, or you know, Casper the
yeah,
Friendly
like
Ghost, or what else you got?
yeah, like a friendly or a happy ghost. I don't know, because like that stuff does exist. Like, well, like it exists in film and folklore. Like, obviously Casper is probably like the most famous of the friendly ghosts.
Yeah.
And I mean, he just like walks around. He's all like helpful and stuff.
That great movie with Bill Pullman.
That was actually like a pretty good movie, and I remember watching it when I was a kid. I had it on VHS. Pretty sweet. And it, for whatever reason, I was always like dissatisfied at the end. Like, because I think he like turns into a boy very temporarily and then goes back to being a ghost, I think.
I don't remember.
And I'm like, oh man, he should just be like a boy like forever. Like, why does he have to go back to being a ghost?
Don't they build or find some kind of chamber in the basement?
Yeah, there was like this scientist, Bill Pullman or something, and he finds like, I think it's probably like his grandfather's work that's like trying to figure out how to make ghosts into real people, and they like, or real people into ghosts. And yeah, they figure out how it works, and there's only like a limited amount of serum or whatever it is of this potion stuff, and they use it like very briefly, but then it just sort of wears off, and eventually, you know, blah blah blah. So this is just like, ghosts exist. We can find some sort of serum that can turn them into real people again. Like bring back the dead, but in like a nice, fun way, and not like a resurrect from the grave that they're still kind of like undead, like Pet Cemetery or something.
Yeah, and then you have other helpful ghosts like the Sixth Man.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has seen that movie, but I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
but
he
basically
helps his brother win the championship that they couldn't win together.
Exactly. Like, and that was that's what I love, is like that's the unfinished business.
To win the championship.
Yeah, I can't move on until we won the championship. But that was kind of cool. Like you got your like bro just helping you out all the time as a ghost, and people are like, "What? Oh, how did he dunk that? He's only like 5 foot nothing." It's like,
he was dunking from like the other end.
I'm pretty sure Spud Webb was helped out by his dead ghost brother.
Probably.
That I don't know.
His name was probably Reg Webb.
Reg Webb. Hey, Reg.
I could have said Spider. Imagine if your last name was Webb. How tempted would you be to name your kid Spider?
Or Charlotte.
No, well, maybe if it was a girl. I probably wouldn't name my son Charlotte.
If that's true. Yeah, so like that movie was pretty badass. So like I like the idea of like, you know, the helpful ghost thing, but then people start going like, oh man, you didn't even do this yourself. Like, you can't even accomplish anything on your own. You need this ghost to help you out. And you'd be like, shut up.
Well, that's ultimately what happened, wasn't it? Anton couldn't help him in the finals, and he did it himself.
Yeah, because he needed that self-belief, and he was just like, yeah, you're good, bro.
What a great time. So I guess there is helpful ghosts. There's also kind of the ghosts, like, you know, the housewife that got killed tragically, and her unfinished business is whatever it is, and she's like trying to do the laundry and stuff like that, or straightening up. There's some ghosts that clean your house. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's actually like super sweet. Kind of like you just like go out for the day and you come back, everything's just like spotless and whatnot.
Yeah, and then you got other ghosts that just try and kill you every day and smash stuff and throw stuff at you. That would be the opposite of good. So
opposite of good. But you bring up an interesting point there, like Tugboat is just about how, like, when does one become a ghost, or when do they like kind of stick around? Why can't these ghosts move on? And there's like tons of theories where if you just like had this super traumatic experience or traumatic life, that's what like keeps spirits kind of in limbo or on Earth or whatever to try and make it something.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the unfinished business, and then what defines unfinished business.
Well, that's the thing. I think it like has to be. My guess is individual. Like, I mean, there's probably others who would say that it's like a higher power is determining. Like, no, you really need to get your stuff together before you move on. But I think it's the individual person just like, no, 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 I'm not leaving. This was horrible. This isn't what life was supposed to be like. I need to fix this before I can carry on.
Yeah, but by that argument, wouldn't everyone try and do that?
I don't know. Some people are like pretty like cool with the idea of death, or maybe some of them like are too lazy. Like they don't want to like, oh man, oh I gotta fix this problem. Oh, this is gonna take some work. So they just kind of go off to paradise. I'm assuming that's what happens, right?
I think just mainly old people are the ones that are like, well, I had a good run. Pack it in, Jerry. We're going.
Yeah.
But
or even like, I would be surprised if like young ones or like super young ones were just like too young to even realize like how good life was or something. I don't know. They'll just be like, oh, I'm just gonna go to this playground. But I don't know. Kids probably are like the most that stick around. I don't know.
So is could it be like going back to that young kids thing? Could it just be like your memories kind of make you stay? Like if you have you make a poor decision or you are trying to right a wrong or something like that. That's your unfinished business then.
Yeah, or like making it okay for like your parents. They'll be like, I'm good. I'm passed away, but you know, parents, you need to like chill out. There's like a really cool book called The Shack, and it has several religious undertones, but that's kind of the premise is like the parent is having a really tough time with their child being, I think they were like molested and murdered, and you just couldn't forgive the thing and was trying to figure it out, and then finally he goes on this huge journey and then kind of gets to speak to his daughter, and she's just like, it's okay, Dad, I'm cool. Like
how mediums kind of, that's their whole racket, is trying to get people to, that's why people go to them, because they just want to know, are you okay? And that's like when my grandpa passed away, my grandma started getting really into mediums, and they were like, nope, he's happy, he's on the other side, he's having a good time. Which, you know, why would you say anything else? Be like, oh yeah, terrible time, just brutal, just, you know, it's probably terrible that he's dead, because it is so much worse over there. Good luck sleeping. That'll be $500.
Well, I actually have a thing though, Chase, if like you hated the person when they were alive, and then you go to a medium to be like, are they burning in hell? Because that would be fantastic.
That's their whole thing, is they got to read you and then tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, that's your opinion. I haven't researched mediums enough, or medium people. I'm sure there's some good ones, some bad ones.
Yeah. There's poor sensitive ones that see all the ghosts. Yeah.
Creepy.
So the ghosts, you know, why are they so scary? That we talked about the psychological thing and the not knowing and the lack of control for possessions. What about, you know, ghosts reminding us that, yeah, we're going to die sometime, or even, you know, that why are they here? Shouldn't they be in this heaven or hell or whatever religious thing you subscribe to tells you what's going on in your afterlife?
Yeah, like it kind of like skews up that idea that you're going to like one or the other for those that believe in that. It's just like this kind of like skews. It's like, okay, well, if they're not there and they're not there, like what the heck is going on?
Yeah, does it prove there's nothing after you die? You just kind of hang around?
Yeah, and that's kind of like, I don't know, for people who kind of maybe enjoy life quite a bit, that might not be super terrible, but I don't know, some people who hate life probably are like, no!
So here's another one for you. So, in the history of the world, from the beginning of time, if all the dead people hung around, how many billions of people would there be? Like, wouldn't we be reaching some kind of critical ghost mass? Is that why we can all of a sudden see them? Because you don't hear ghost stories from, like, medieval times, either the restaurant or the time period, or pirate times even, talking about, you know, the ghosts and whatnot. It's just recently, like, is there too much of a build-up, a ghost build-up going on? What's the deal there?
I don't know, but that's a pretty, like, it's a really hilarious premise, like, sort of, like, just like a waiting list to get into these places, and then they have to just kind of, like, Like, you know those times where it's like, oh, your appointment's not for another hour, and you have to just kind of like piss away your time
Yes,
wandering around town, finding cool shops and stuff.
I'm phenomenal at pissing away time. Play on your phone for a minute, sit on a bench, then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, I only have 5 minutes to get back there.
Yeah. So then you just like, I don't know, your other option is kind of screw around with people.
Or
And then you like realize that screwing around with people is like really fun, so you just keep doing that, and then they start calling you like, hey, you missed your appointment. You want to set up another one? You're like, no, I'm good.
or you're just trying to murder people and then they're trying to get rid of you, but you're there forever somehow. So what?
That was my Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I'm not sure that fits. Okay, I got another question for you from the questionnaires. So typically, it's kind of out of favor now, but a ghost to scare you, and people do it now. It would say "boo." Is that just somebody trying to write down the noise they make, or why are ghosts saying "boo"?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't. Now that it's in existence, like I kind of get it, just because of like the sharpness of it, like just like, ooh, like it's just like a hard,
Yeah,
harshly kind of hide it behind something, and then it's just like, like scare.
it's startling. But why would a ghost be hiding? And now I'm picturing like a ghost, like somebody you can see through, like hiding behind like around the doorway, and just be like, oh man, he's gonna walk through this door, and I'm gonna yell boo and scare the hell out of him.
Yeah, and I bet you there was like so many like failed attempts before they like landed on boo.
Like I wonder if they had to, if there was like a ghost union and they like sat down and voted. Okay, all in favor of boo, say aye. The ayes have it. And they had to ratify the use of boo and really, get it approved. Have 2/3 majority of the board members approve the use
Yeah,
of
and you know,
boo.
like there's just this one person who just is out there, just like hates the idea. Like, I thought we were going with crunch, guys. No, I think crunch is better. Like, can we have another ruling? Like, it's crunch. It's boo, man. Cool it.
Can we do crunch with a K then?
Yeah, like it's different. It's not like like crunching on the ground. It's like, oh,
It's
this person
edgy.
could crush me. Crunch. It's good.
It's edgy.
It's edgy. It's new. It's fresh.
Why would boo? Why? I don't. It's too.
It's to the point. And then people are like, what does that even mean? So not only are you scared, you're also like, is that ghost language? Does that mean something else? Does that mean they're going to come back? Like,
To come back and cut your purse. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't get that. I don't understand. And maybe it's the meaning that I get hung up on. Is why that? Why those 3 letters? Why not like Kra?
because that makes me laugh. I think that's why. Like, if someone was behind a door and they came out and went, "Caw!" you would just be like, nah.
Kra!
You'd be like initially terrified and then laughing.
Boo. But then
Remember the boo box from the movie Hook?
nope. No, I don't.
Really?
Nope.
Where they put like the bad pirates into the treasure chest, and then they just like locked you in there, and then just dumped in a bunch of scorpions. And every time they put in a scorpion, they went boo.
I do not remember.
This guy was like waiting there, and he's like, "Oh, what should we do with him?" And it's like, "I think we should put him in the boo box." And the guy's like, "No, not the boo box. No, not the boo box." And then they throw him in there, and then they dump in a scorpion and go boo, boo, and then they're all like laughing at it, and this guy's getting stung by scorpions and killed. Ugh.
Here's another one for you. Boo is a common jeer. So is that the ghost like booing you, like saying you suck? Like boo! Or are we yelling boo at oppositions in sports because, it's a ghost thing?
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the ghost thing, but I think like I don't think they're using it in that sense of like boo, and it's like you suck at life, boo.
I think the ghosts stole it, and they're booing us because we're alive and they're dead.
Yeah,
That's where I landed, and that's where I'm gonna stay.
makes sense. What are those things like? What is it called? The origin of things?
Genesis,
Maybe. Like,
progenitor.
no. Like the origins of stuff. Oh, that's interesting. Uh, we forgot about using the word boo as like your significant other.
I didn't forget. I was just trying not to go there.
Um, that's interesting. Yeah, so that's I don't know where it came from, but I think it works. But now it's just kind of like a caricature of itself.
Okay, what if you're speaking of booze? What if your boo dies and comes back? Can you still like have that ghost pottery moment or more? Like how Dan Aykroyd gets some kind of ghost job, GJ maybe,
GJ.
in the movie Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Well, I think like the more important question than that is like, would you let that would you let that happen, or B, yeah, that's my first question. We'll go to the other one next. So like,
Okay,
would
so
you like?
I don't know if I said it, but my reaction if I saw a ghost would be to just like lock it up, just freeze, just not move. So if a ghost was intent on giving me a GJ, I'm pretty sure that would go down, and I wouldn't stop it.
Yeah, and then you obviously have like a raging fear boner going on.
Well, these things can't be helped. Fear boners are just a part of nature, same as murder boners.
Yeah, and is that like a? I know. No, would you frame that as like a very helpful ghost, like being like, okay, this guy's stressed out by seeing me, the ghost, so I'm just gonna like ease the tension by giving him a GJ.
Well, that's if the ghost is in that mindset. Like it depends on what the ghost is thinking. Maybe the ghost is just like, man, I really want to get a GJ on here. Oh, this guy's here. I'll just get him. Or
Yeah.
if it's like, or if you like you say something like, oh well, I'll make him feel better. He looks like he had a rough week. I'll give him a GJ, spice up his life.
Yeah, and then like at what point like do you end up having like those like a stage 5 clinger ghost where they start trying to give you GJs out in public and stuff, and you're like, no,
Oh,
like not here, like only in the privacy of our bedroom. And then they start getting like wicked insecure and just being like, why don't you love me? Like, are you ashamed of me? And then you got like this ghost girlfriend.
that's probably the whole problem with ghosts. Is that's why they stick around because they're in love with you and they just want to GJ you all the time, and you're like, they can't. Were his pants off? I don't remember. I feel like they had to undress him. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I guess they talked to the guy in the subway, but ghosts. I don't. Can they exist in the daylight? I don't know.
Like it's essentially like a dead stalker.
But that would be so embarrassing if you're like standing waiting for the bus and there's like 5 other people and you're just kind of looking out across the street, and then all of a sudden your like fly starts getting undone. You're like, oh no, oh no, and like all the other people at the bus stop would be like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, and like your dick like just magically gets pulled out, so it looks like your like boner is just so like powerful, it just kind of like pops up out of there, and then yeah, that's really weird.
How would you defend yourself in that situation? Like you can't push her away or anything, or
Yeah,
him,
like
or him. It could be a dude
motion.
ghost.
It makes you look like infinitely more insane. You're like swatting things away with nothing there, and then you just have this huge raging erection.
And then, worst case Ontario, you actually ejaculate, and it looks like you were just standing there swinging your arms and pushing an imaginary person. Then you just complete the activity. People will be like, "Whoa!" And then there's that one girl at the end of the line that's like kind of into it.
Or the guy's just kind of like, it happens so often, he starts to get comfortable, and he's like, don't worry, everybody, whatever, it's just my my ghost girlfriend. She gives me GJs every once in a while. Don't worry about
it'll
it.
be like
Sorry.
4 minutes tops. Just look away. We'll be done before the bus gets here.
And then some guy like goes over to him afterwards, like, "Oh man, how do you get one of those?"
I don't know. I'm sensitive to these things. Ghosts. Well, I forget when we were talking about this previously, but you asked me in the past. Speaking of Ghostbusters, so you know where I'm going with this. You asked me if I would bang Sigourney Weaver while she was possessed by Zool.
Yep.
And my response was without question. Thinking about it more after, I would still probably do it, but is there like a homosexual activity? Like, because Zool's a dude, right?
I'm assuming so, based on the voice.
So are you banging a dude?
Yeah, like essentially, like you're banging a demon dude from the past who is all the way evil.
But I'm having sex with her body.
Yes.
But he's kind of just like shaking and frothing at the mouth.
Yeah, so like he's getting all the like intimacy of it, or the romantic attachment, and you're just like there's the body of the woman. So
I don't see Zool as getting any kind of romantic payback from anything like that. I feel like, you know, it's just sex for Zool. It's just conquering someone else.
no, because like he's ultimately doing something for the Great Gozer. So I mean, he's accomplishing his mission. So like I know you're a guy who likes to accomplish things at work. When you finish a project, you're pretty like pumped about it. You know, helping out the company or your superior.
Yeah, I guess it would just be like a kind of step on the ladder to get the job done for the Scourge of Carpathia.
Exactly. That I can tell you. So that's what he's doing. He's totally getting off by that. So like you're getting off a dude, but there's a body of a woman. So I don't know how that changes your response.
I'm going to stick with that I would do it. Because
Okay.
what other chance am I going to get to bang Dana Barrett, you know?
I guess that's true.
I'm no Peter Venkman.
I think I would take the Bill Murray approach and wait it out, maybe exercise the demon before getting it on. Because, like, I mean, that's like almost like guaranteed bone after, like when you like save a woman's life.
Yeah,
Somehow.
but he's Peter Venkman. Like, he's a doctor. He's well respected in the community.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I could pull it off. I'm not sure I could pick up Dana Barrett afterwards.
Oh,
Well, if I was the one that saved her, that's different. But if I'm just some guy that's like sees this possessed chick on a floating above a bed, like shaking and rotating and stuff, I'd just be like, well, no one's around.
yeah. See, that's
That
Nope.
raises its own moral questions.
yeah, it's big morality. So everybody can go back to one of our earlier podcasts when we talked about truth and honesty and stuff, and really think that one over.
But if Zool is like, come here and bang this body, or I'll kill you, I'd be like, all right, well, he said he was going to kill me, so...
That could be a trap to kill you.
Oh, that would be a terrible way to go.
Yeah.
Death by intercourse?
Yeah.
Oof.
I have a joke.
Of course.
If a ghost has like really great boobs, would they be considered supernaturals?
You're a sick animal.
I think it's funny.
It is quite funny. Supernaturals.
They should have that as like a new category in most porn things. I'm sure it already exists. They just have supernaturals and they're just dressed as ghosts.
So to close out the Ghostbuster thing, do you think the gatekeeper and the keymaster was the whole purpose of that, like so they could bang?
Yeah, that's what I find actually extremely weird. Is like
because there's no they lead up to it, but there's no payoff.
Yeah, there's like what's it called? Kind of like dog breeders or something. Like here, you have some two like evil demon things, and it's like, okay, we're gonna pick two humans. We're gonna make them bang so that we can reincarnate our supreme leader.
Gozer.
Yeah, like I think that's just kind of like that's just like super weird. Like where in the line? Like was that the only way, or was that just sort of like the best plan that they had?
That's probably the only way. I mean, how many ways can there to be to bring back your evil Lord of Carpathia?
Oh, there's got to be a couple different ways. Maybe there was like some sort of specific like amulet that he wore that he was stored inside that they just had to like say a magic chant and then they would come back, or I don't know.
Maybe we should write some fan fiction about Gozer
We should.
and just start a whole like book series about the adventures and misadventures of Gozer the Carpathian.
Yeah, that sounds like a very like child or adolescent driven novel.
I feel like
the Great Adventures of Gozer.
yeah, but then it's like him pillaging and raping.
Oh, so you're looking at it like a GOT type theme.
Yeah, but just like exactly what Gozer does. Like he beats people and burns houses down. Just and then the struggle that he has, like, keeping power, and if somebody killed him eventually. I don't think he died of old age. He does look kind of old though.
Yeah, but if he's dead, then how do you bring him back in a re-arc? I don't know. Anyways, you get two humans to bang. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, and then they jerk it off into a small baby, and then that's how that happens.
Yeah, because I mean that was a step up for old Rick Moranis' character there.
Yeah, like that. He was definitely falling uphill on that one.
Oh yeah, big time.
So
Sigourney Weaver would have been so mad when she woke up.
like, really? Damn it. But yeah, the other weird thing is, wouldn't it make more sense that if these two ghosts banged, and like the gatekeeper and the keymaster banged, then she had the baby, and it was Gozer, not somehow that crazy woman with the thing steals the baby and then it turns into him. Like, I don't know. Well, let's pin that one for now, because we're starting to get towards the time that we need to be not talking about this. So 2 more questions to tackle.
Yeah, I think we're gonna leave the one question. I think it's the next on the list as far as the little kids, old lady things. Save the haunt someone for the next one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we can get into the Are You Afraid of the Dark and the Goosebumps?
No, I think we can save that too. We're approaching 54 minutes here, so.
Okay, so very quickly, scariest, little kids or old ladies?
I don't know. I'd say little kids probably, like especially if you can't see their face somehow. So think of like the twins in The Shining, and then think of the little girl from The Ring or The Grudge or whatever it is, with like the black hair.
And the little boy.
Yeah, so it's the little girl, and there's like water dripping off of her all the time, and she's just like, it's always like standing, and those two little twins are just standing, and then they like take off on their bikes or whatever. No, he rides up to them on his bike.
And but that's the thing though, is like you got two little kids and they're just like, play with us, Danny. Yes, play with us.
Yeah,
and it's just like
super creepy.
It's like super creepy, but I mean they're just asking to play, whereas I feel like an old lady would try and like murder you or make you make out with them or something weird.
Maybe it's just that kids have more potential than old people, but I feel like if an old woman ghost, and all I can picture now is from the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner, the old crone woman that tries to attack Morgan Freeman's character and just like running at him like, Wah! And he just stabs her in the stomach with a spear. I feel like that's all it would take to take out an old ghost, or like push her off the edge of a building.
So you think that like an old lady would probably be maybe scarier, but you could easily defend yourself, so it's not that scary?
Yeah, I feel like old people are more easily defeated.
Okay. Yeah, because little kids, I mean, you've seen Home Alone. I mean, they can defend themselves pretty well.
Yeah, and they have all kinds of potential. Like they could be super strong or super smart. Old people they're done. Like it's like you could be like, hey, stop it, or I'll put you in a home, and they'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay, if you're in your room at night and you're like trying to get to sleep, and you just kind of hear some noises, and then there's just like this old lady standing there in like some weird robes and stuff, that wouldn't be as scary for you as if you were like trying to sleep and like your friends there, like you heard some like little kid giggling. Like little kids giggling
Oh
is for
my
whatever
god.
reason on the planet.
So that's the thing. So they're both equally scary, but then you add the creepy in from the little kids because they're not supposed to be dead. Old people, you expect them to be dead.
Mm.
Now you want to talk about the scariest? Clowns, ghost clowns. That
Ghost.
that will definitely fill your underpants with poop.
Yeah. See, I've never really got the whole clown being terrifying stuff.
Yeah, well, I did, and I don't want to tale it from the tugboat just yet, but in my youth, I spent more than one night fully awake all night because there was a friggin' clown staring at me while I slept. So I guess you'll have to tune in next time to hear how the tugboat overcame the clown problem.
Yeah, and we're gonna delve in some classics with our "Are You Afraid of the Dark" and Goosebumps episodes, discussions, as well as just tons of tales from the tugboat. Maybe a little bit of grilling some cheese, and got to tune into our special 2-part Halloweeg episode, part 2.
Halloweeg!